Alright, it is finally July 18th in the year 2023, and one of the most anticipated patch notes has finally dropped for Diablo 4. Pun intended, always with the 4 jokes. And this one is dropping right before Season 1. We're doing both the patch notes in this video. We're also going to talk about the Season of the Malignant Hearts notes that came out. We're not going to go into detail all about rest of the season in that article, but we will talk about the hearts when we get there. That'll be at the end of the video, and the timestamps will be below. But before we get into the rest of this video here, I want to let everyone know that I do stream over on Twitch at Jacket. So you want to go to twitch.tv/Jacket. I'm there filming a lot of my content that I do for Diablo 4, a lot of my testing, trying to have some fun, and feel free to stop by, drop a like, come talk to me about some of your testings, your builds. I love hearing the science that other people put into it, and even share some stories. So let's get into this one. We have the Diablo 4 patch notes here. There is a lot of stuff going through. I'm not going to lie, I did skim some of it. I read a little bit about what's going on, and there are a lot of things in here that are being updated as hotfixes. I'm going to call out some key ones I think are very important that we talk about as a community, but for the most part, I would urge you to, if it's something that interests you, to go in and look through some of those the fixes. There aren't very many that are completely noticeable unless it was like a one-off scenario. Things like Core Dragon finally got its appropriate fix for having all of the Blood Boil spawn. It was said to be fixed previously, but this one, they added in another one, and I think that is going to be enough to do it. So let's talk about some of these legendary aspects here. So we're getting 6 unique items. We're going to get a Havarian, Spear of Lycander. It's going to be an uber unique, one of those items that no one is going to see. And, they gave it an effect that I think no one is going to miss either. So they can gain a random shrine effect for 10 to 20 seconds after killing an elite enemy. It can only occur once every 30 seconds. Now, a lot of weapons that we'll go over here are very interesting to think about when it comes to calculating how they're going to be useful. Things like Bloodless Scream have almost no value because they're not buffing any damage, and a lot of stuff we're focusing on our weapons are focusing on a lot of damage aspects. So the biggest thing that we need to do is focus on as much damage into our weapon as possible, whether that's the aspects on the weapon, the item affixes, the legendary affixes as well that we're attaching to it. And, a unique power like this isn't going to be something crazy. You kill an elite and you get a conduit shrine, that'll be cool, but how does that help you against a boss fight when you do no damage and there's no elites to kill? There is a developer note here. The Spear of Lycander is an extremely rare drop. We wish you luck in recovering it from the armies of the Burning Hells. A lot of flavor, and I'm going to be honest with you. It's a lot of flavor and a lot of nerfs. So, the Barbarian, Azurath unique sword. Lucky hit, your core skills have up to a 20% chance to freeze enemies for 3 seconds and deal some cold damage to them. I don't know why this is a Barbarian specific, but it is now. And they got an extra way to, chill some stuff and chance to freeze, and we'll see if it ever gets used. There are so many good legendary powers that having a unique with this kind of flavor, it's not going to do very much, I don't think, to them. So we'll see what they mean by 0.75 to 1.5 cold damage to them. A lot of this stuff will be fleshed out once we see the actual numbers. Speaking of flesh, the druids are going to get Flesh Render. It's a one-handed mace. Debilitating Roar and Bloodhound now deal 0.5 to 1.0 damage to nearby poison enemies. This could be really good for those poison builds out there that kind of rip off the poison in large damage, so we'll keep an eye on that. Again, the numbers once we see them. Necromancer, a Lidless Wall. It's a unique shield. This is unfortunate because I don't think there's too many builds out there that Necromancer use shield for. Maybe like a Thorns build, but even I haven't put together a Thorns build. I got almost 500 hours of Necromancer. Lucky hit. When you have an active Bone Storm, Hitting an enemy outside of a bone storm has up to a 5 to 25% chance to spawn an additional bone storm at their location. Each of your active sacrifice bonuses increases this chance by 25%, and the total number of bone storms you can have by +1. Now this is this is hilarious to me because there's been so much community uproar because we want to use minions with necromancers, and they keep giving us stuff to stack sacrifice bonus. I don't know what to tell you. This is not going to be part of any type of minion build that if you wanted that for it. It's very interesting to maybe there's a Bone Storm meta build that's out there somewhere of stacking crazy damage to have Bone Storms doing everything, but to my knowledge, Bone Storm's a critical strike buff and a damage reduction buff, and that's about it. So again, we'll have to see. Rogue has Eagle Horn. It's a unique bow. Penetrating Shot has a 30 to 80% chance to fire an arrow that bounces off walls and scenery, hitting enemies from behind with Penetrating Shot and making them vulnerable for 3 seconds. Bows don't have vulnerable damage attached to their actual modifier. It's kind of dead on arrival. We'll see how much this Penetrating Shot actually enhances the actual damage of it. If this Penetrating Shot does anything to make those ricochet shots to do more damage, this could be insane, but because you want a crossbow, any kind of bow just is dead on arrival until they fix that. And they do talk about itemization towards the bottom of the patch. I don't want anyone to think that's watching this that I'm oblivious to what they have changed. But what I will say is that any amount of vulnerable damage is better than no amount of vulnerable damage. So it's because it's its own bucket. All the damage that you're getting from what the bow's passive does, the bow's actual passive on it does, it's just not going to be enough, I don't think. And this is just absolutely ridiculous. I don't know what they were thinking with this one. Talk about flavor, right? Gain the effect of the teleport enchantment for free. When you evade using teleport enchantment, you are taken to a random location. This has absolutely insane number of different locations you could end up in. It's not like sometimes you'll go left, sometimes you'll go right, but like when you really need precise movements, this is going to be absolutely useless. So unless a weapon has like really, really good modifiers on it, these powers are not going to make or break these weapons. We need to see some item affixes for these. Otherwise, it's going to be a bunch of like diluted loot pool for the good uniques that we're looking for, like Tempest Roar. And we did get 7 new legendary aspects. Audacity. When there was at least 5 close enemies, stun them for 2 to 4 seconds. This can occur only once every 20 seconds. I feel like this is going to be like a blast wave, but it's just a stun. It's cool, I guess, but you're not really using a power like this. Stun something. Your build probably has a stun built into it to get any stun damage modifiers, and I don't see this coming through as a clear winner. Raven. You gain 20 to 40% increased movement speed when moving away from slower chilled enemies. Maybe for Necromancer if you're using those boots, but I think this goes on boots, so I don't know. I have no idea. I'm sure someone smarter than me can figure out where this might be useful. Barbarian, Ancestral Charge, offensive aspect. Charge calls forth 4 ancients who also charge, dealing 50 to 100% of its normal damage. This will be cool. This will be 4 extra charges at 100% damage. Maybe a charge build comes out from it. We'll see what happens. Druid, Subterranean, Poison Creepers, active, also casts Landslide in a circle around you. Earth skills deal 10 to 20% increased damage to poison enemies. I'm going to assume this is a multiplicative damage increase. This is really good. This power alone seems like it's something that can start branching out to create even more build diversity. These are the type of powers I want to start seeing from Blizzard. Not things like you move faster away from, slowed or chilled enemies on a slot that also gives classes away that don't slow or chill away to slow or chill. Like, I don't want something like that. Alright. Necromancer, Gore Quills, offensive aspect. Blood Lance will consume blood orbs to also conjure lances from them. Each additional blood lance deals 20 to 50% of normal damage and prioritize targeting unlanced enemies. Didn't they just put in a quick fix to stop blood lance from going across the whole scene? The damage multiplier is going to be nice. Hopefully, again, it's multiplicative and not additive damage. That means more damage for Bloodlance. That's a thumbs up in my book. We get some good Bloodlance builds going on out there. But they just adding more Bloodlances? They have it capped. Now it's not capped. What if they break the game with like the million of Blood Orbs again? I don't know. I'm happy for them. It just seems like they knew this was coming and they had to do the other fix too, because this would have been just like, well, that original thing is crashing the game. Now we're going to give more Bloodlances and even more crash games. They're going to crash games from across the world now. So this will be interesting. Hopefully it gives them some of the power back that they had for those other cool, crazy builds. Pestilent points. Pestilent points. It's like combo points, but poison. Every third cast of Puncture is poison imbued with 100 to 150% of normal potency. Poison imbue is awesome, so it's going to be a thumbs up in my book if you're using Puncture. I don't know if this will replace anything on the current builds. There's a lot of core stuff that is really good, so we'll see how that fits in. Searing Wards. After spending 200 to 100 mana, your next firewall is free to cast and will destroy incoming small missiles. Zorks need some love in the defense department. They can stop getting offense stuff for now, and please give them some survivability. Bug fixes. This is where I wanted to talk to you guys about. I am not going to go through and read all of these individual bug fixes. You can if you want to. Again, there's not an insane amount of them, but we want to get to this gameplay loop. I think there's a few things in here that are worth calling out. Challenges, no idea. The feat of strength final slayer of the first mother now requires you to slay the level 100 pinnacle boss solo. Can't get carried anymore, boys. You gotta kill it solo. They have a different one for, I guess, killing it in a group. A lot of co-op stuff. These dungeon ones are super nice. I would say and recommend actually just go through and look through some of these. You might have experienced some of these dungeon problems and been like, man, I'm losing my mind. What's going on here? But no, it turns out they were actual bugs, so you're not losing your mind. You're okay. Especially my book, you're okay. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. We have gameplay. Okay, so, Barbarian. You already know what's coming, Barbarian. Sorry. We'll read that one first. Fixed an issue where the outer edge of the quakes granted to Hammer of the Ancients via the aspect of Ancestral Echoes was dealing far more damage than intended. We recognize this adjustment as a significant decrease to Hammer of the Ancients Barbarian build, but we do not want its strength to be reliant on an underlying bug. Can we get a rip out in chat for for Hodas? It's okay though. I get this. This is something I can actually get behind. Let's give them some love. Hopefully later we'll see some buffs in those aspects, right? Fingers crossed. Fix an issue where the number of enemies defeated for the Barbarian class quest Master of Battle was not displayed. This is just a W. Please tell us, how we're progressing. Fix an issue where Iron Maelstrom could be cast more than 3 times rapidly casting Warcry. I guess that means Iron Maelstrom would be really, really good then at that point if you're spamming Warcry as well. Or if you just have Warcry active, I guess is what this means. Fix an issue where stacking the Berserk Ripping, Skullbreaker, and Anemia aspects would allow the player to deal extreme amounts of damage. Well, I guess that's 2 L's for Barbarian again. We really just, honestly, in the next patch, if Barbarian doesn't get nerfed anymore, then we might have to have a community outrage. I don't think this is enough nerfs for Barbarian. Quite frankly, they're just a bit too good. Sorry, I can't complete the joke. This is ridiculous. They got to stop nerfing Barbs. Barbs did nothing wrong. Hashtag, right? Start it up. Hashtag Barbs did nothing wrong. Druid. Fix an issue where Earth skills and the Pulverize skill would consume 2 overpower buffs simultaneously. I think this was making them do much more damage, so that is good. They are back on scale with what they are supposed to be doing. Fix an issue where the bonus effect on Blood Howl from Night Howler's aspect would apply twice to Wolf Companions, but not at all for Ravens. Okay, so they're just giving Night Howler's aspect to the Ravens as well, I guess, which is good. Fix an issue where Provocation passive stacks wouldn't update properly after adding more points to it. Okay, that's good. Get to see what's actually happening in the game. It's always a good thing. Fix a new issue where the automatic transfer from Insatiable Fury would... Automatic transfer, okay. Transformation. Automatic transformation Fix an issue where the automatic transformation from Insatiable Fury would cause the Earth Sign Strength key passive to not proc consistently. Very good. This will be a buff for that. Fix an issue where the Enhanced Pulverize buff would not remove itself while in town. I mean, it's in town, so you know. Maybe they were doing some funky stuff. I don't know. We'll see. Next season. Season 1's Druid time for me. Fix an issue where Seeking Tornadoes produced by Storm Chaser aspect would not deal damage. Cool. Tornadoes got a little buff by fixing an issue. Fix an issue where Raven's passive damage did not improve after the skill was upgraded. Ooh. That's going to be a yikes for me, dog. Fix an issue where Rabies would deal no damage while standing very close to an enemy. So, Ravens weren't doing damage. The Rabies was doing no damage. No wonder why Druids felt pigeonholed into those builds. I don't know, man. Fix an issue where Stormclaw's aspects allowed Shred to do extreme amounts of damage. And okay, this is so you guys don't know, this is where Druids would walk into a battle, poison something like just a whole bunch of times, and then just rip off all the damage and then kill it instantly. Stuff that you couldn't, the damage that you couldn't see. So this is something that they've just reeled back in. Necromancer, our favorite class for now. Fix an issue where Necromancers could not obtain daggers from the Purveyor of Curiosities. Shucks, man, all those God roll daggers for close damage, you know? I never use daggers. Fix an issue where the Necromancer's minions would have their life bonuses deactivated in town. Again, I don't really care about anything that's happening in town. There's no combat going on. Maybe this is what was happening with when you were on your mount. Your mount was counting as being in town, and so, like, I don't know if you noticed while you're playing your Necromancer, but if you got on your mount and got off your mount, your minions wouldn't be at full life. So hopefully this is something to do with that. Fix an issue where Bone Spear casting through Chilling Wind from an elite enemy would increase the number of generated echoes for that cast. This fails to mention it, but this is due to a unique. The unique item would, on the helmet, would cast Bone Spear and then leave echoes as it trailed through. So while Bone Spear slowed it down, it would be like echo, 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 like just stacking them up. So that has been fixed now, and it's going to properly do it per the distance it travels, I guess. Fix an issue where Enhanced Bone Spear could cause erratic movement. I have no idea what that means. Fix an issue where canceling Blood Mist when it's already off cooldown would immediately recast it. I mean, more Blood Mist is fun, I guess, but I guess that's like probably perma-mist. Rogue. Fix an issue where Shadow Step wouldn't trigger the aspect of Uncanny Treachery if the target was killed. This is good. That means that the aspect will properly trigger, hopefully. Fix an issue where Advanced Penetrating Shot would not knock down other players in PvP play. Okay, well, that's good. PvP should be fair and balanced, but you know what's happening in PvP should be happening in real time for you. Fix an issue where Twisting Blade would not come back when the ability killed a bloated Corpse Fiend enemy. Okay, Twisting Blade buff anyone? No, that's good. Things should work as they're supposed to. Fix an issue where the dash skill would not move the full distance if targeting an enemy while using a controller. Good. Buff for controller players. Fix an issue where the Eldritch Bounty Paragon node bonus resistances incorrectly. Okay. So it's going to grant proper amount now. That's good. Fix an issue where Rapid Fire had an extra arrow VFX that behaved erratically. Cool. Just lines up with what it's supposed to do again. I don't think this was doing any extra damage. I hope not, because that would be a nerf for Rapid Fire, and we like Rapid Fire. Fix an issue where the Awakened Glyphstone wouldn't spawn for rogue players using Improved Barrage. So if you had Improved Barrage selected, you wouldn't be able to upgrade your glyphs for doing Nightmare Dungeons. That was cool. Alright, and now we're on to Sorcerer gameplay fixes. Fix an issue where the Firebolt enchantment effect did not contribute to Combustion Keystone passive. Okay, so, well, Firebolt, Combustion, you would think they would work together. Glad that that's fixed. Fix an issue where the passive stacks generated by the elements could partially reset in an unexpected way. Good, because Align the Elements was supposed to be like you're casting fire and ice and lightning and doing all these cool, crazy things. So it should always stack properly when you're doing something like that. Fix an issue where casting Deep Freeze would prevent the Ice Shard enchantment from triggering. Good. Fix an issue where aspect of control was applying its damage bonus 3 times for staggered bosses. This is what was this is what was killing Uber Lilith, I believe. Yeah, this is 3 times the aspect of controls. Damage. That's funny. All right, cool. That's fixed now. That shouldn't be doing too much damage anymore. Fixed an issue where the gravitational aspect was appearing weaker on two-handed weapons or amulets. That's funny. So it was like it was like halving it and quartering it instead of giving you the double bonuses. Fixed an issue where the enchantment effect for chain landing had no visual tracking and could also unexpectedly drop off. Okay, good. Chain landing should chain properly. Fix an issue where Incinerate would immediately cost 30 mana when cast in addition to the consistent channeling mana cost. Incinerate now properly only costs mana as it's being channeled. Well, rip Incinerate. No wonder no one was using it. Okay, some general fixes as well. General fixes. Let's see if anything's pretty good. No, this is a good one. Fix an issue where monsters with a cold, bleeding, burning, or corruption affix would freeze players in one hit in Nightmare Dungeons with the cold enchanted affix. So if you, like me, were getting frozen in one hit and being like, man, what is happening? This is ridiculous. This bug and the one below it is why. And I'm so glad they fixed this. It should feel a lot better to play now. So we probably don't need Blood Mist on our minion builds, which is going to be good. Fix an issue where cold enchanted monsters grows players more often than intended in higher world tiers. See, it's just overall fix. Well, higher world tiers, Nightmare Dungeons, we're good. Also, no more infinite loot for all of those that you did it. We got our eye on you. Some Helltide fixes. Again, you guys can read through these. Nothing too important. Item and aspect fixes. We can read through some of these. Fix an issue where the cost reduction bonus from the Ring of Starless Skies could unexpectedly drop off. I don't even know if anyone has the Ring of Starless Skies, so I think that's one of those uber uniques. Fix an issue where the aspect of the Protector would trigger its barrier effect after destroying a breakable object. This is good because we want that to be off cooldown as much as possible so that we can use it when we are dying. Fix an issue where the Ring of Misfortune had incorrect stats. That's good. Fix an issue where the Ember Staff weapon didn't apply the bonuses to crowd control enemies, which is inherent for all stave weapon types. That's good. Fix an issue where any character menu interaction will reset the bonus of intercom. I don't know why you're spamming your menu while you're in combat. Please stop doing that and stop resetting your stacks of intercom so that you can do some damage while we are in the boss fight. Don't need you looking at your menu at that point. Fix an issue where the maximum life affix on the mark of the Conclave quest item was scaling improperly. Fantastic again. Fix an issue where aspect power would also increase when upgrading an item at the blacksmith. Right, this is like, so when you would go to the aspect and it was a flat value, if you upgraded it, you could power up the aspect and then extract it at that level. Apparently that was a bug, not intended. I thought that was a cool mechanic. This is going to be a L update for me. Followed by 2 W updates. Well, they're like the first part of the W, so they're maybe like V for victory instead of W for win. Because the level requirement for sacred items will now cap at 60, the level requirement for ancestral items will now cap at level 80. It's in the right direction, don't get me wrong. I am happy about this. I am not saying this is bad in any way, but please, why is this not 40 and why is this not 60, like the minimum requirement? Because 80 is fine, but at least we get 20 more levels of people who can actually trade items. But if my buddy's not level 80, I still can't give him anything. But hey, like I said, step in the right direction.
These are good takes
this
here.
is a very good change. I love seeing updates like this. These make the game more interactive on a player level. So from peer to peer, these make it more interactive for me and my alts that I want to make. I will probably actually have another character now because of something like this. I was so sick of getting level 100 gear that I would now have to level my character up to max level to even utilize literally any of it. So please keep up more changes like this. Do appreciate the work when it comes through something like that. Fix an issue where Mother's Embrace Unique Ring did not trigger properly with several abilities. This is hilarious to me because the whole point of this ring was to restore your energy resource, your mana, any of those resource abilities, and it wasn't regenning it for you. So I find that actually hilarious. basically like a useless stat stick. Some monster fixes. Not really worried about any of those. Quest and event, again, read at your own will. I didn't know any of these even were wrong. User interface and user experience. Read through some of these, but it just, I don't know. Especially like this detailed note right here, various other UI and UX improvements. There's so many fixes already that they literally couldn't type out everything. So that just lets you know where some of these notes are at. Let me glance over miscellaneous real quick. This one's fun. Fix an issue where the player could confirm if hardcore mode was enabled after logging in with a new character. You're just like, I want to be lazy today. I'm not playing hardcore. So that was a good change, obviously. Fix that. We want the hardcore to mean something when you're playing hardcore. This one also is interesting. Fix an issue where players that have not unlocked a higher world tier could be invited to a higher world tier party, which means you have to get your friends to World Tier 4 if you want them to be in World Tier 4. That was a bug, apparently. Yeah, this is good, making sure you can transfer your clan. Oh, poor Mayshift. Loading screen updates, it's apparently going to be our character more. That's going to be pretty cool. And here it comes a lot of the meat for our patch. We have gameplay updates, and we're going to get into some class changes as well. I got some big news for the Necromancers. My summon build got infinitely better, and I'm really excited about it. So that's something we'll talk about when we get there. But let's talk about some important things that we need to talk about, like Altars of Lilith unlocks are now account-wide. Map discovery is now account-wide. Whispers will no longer reward Sigil Dust because they now always drop a sigil for you, which is good. All three of these things are fantastic. I saw Quinn talking about this. You're now starting every single character on an uneven foot. I agree. But also, you can't have both ways. I don't want to do it again. And if my cost of not wanting to do it again is I'm going to always be a little bit more powerful than the next person or a brand new person playing the game, that's going to have to be the take on it, unfortunately. I'm going to have a little bit more power than them, but I also have played a little bit more than them. So it is a give and take. I kind of think this is a more W take than L take. I don't think it matters that much. I don't even think it's worth adding in an option to turn it off, to be honest with you. Overall loot quality has been significantly improved from silent chests. Good. These things are useless. I never bought a key after my third chest, so maybe now we'll try it out even. The channel time for leave dungeon ability has been increased from 3 to 5 seconds. I don't know why they did this. There has to be some reason. I would have loved to see a developer note about this one. Please explain this, Blizzard. Literally anyone. Just give us something on it, because I don't need to be in the dungeon for 2 seconds more every single time. 2 seconds times 1,000 is 2,000 seconds. You divide that by 60. Give me the minutes. Put it in the comments if you want to. But, like, come on now. What are you doing? We have generally reduced the tendency for many monsters to move around in combat, so that melee characters don't have to chase down their enemies as much. This is a W take. I love that they're incorporating melee's weakness, so it's not as much of a weakness. It's good that they don't move around as much, not they're stationary, so I like that. Dual sense edge for the controller, that's pretty cool. World tiers. This is where the patch notes go downhill. World Tier 2 had the following bonuses added. Monsters now drop 15% more items, 5% more gold. And they go on to say, we like where World 2 has landed overall, but are increasing its rewards, its reward pace to better align with its difficulty. What is 15% more items? 15% increased chance to get a legendary? Is it if I got 100 items, I would get 15 more items? What is this? I think that you're better off just getting to like level 30 and doing random events and picking up a decent two-handed weapon for whatever class you're playing, and then going to World Tier 2. Regardless, like once you get that first two-handed weapon that's got decent damage on it, I don't know. There's the challenge for World Tier 2 is already so slim. The meta originally was just play on World Tier 1, but it's honestly at the point where you can get to like level 10 and get a really good rare item and two-handed weapon, and then you could just go to World Tier 2 anyway. So that we'll talk about that in like maybe a leveling guide or something. But this is basically a nothing change. I know people are going to say they like it. I double the XP maybe, then we'll talk. Level scaling inside dungeons and most overworld territories has been adjusted in World Tier 3 and 4. Monsters will begin to trail behind the player in level after a certain point up to a maximum of 5 levels behind. This change does not affect world bosses, legion events, fields of hatred, helltides, and nightmare dungeons. Developers go on to say, we want to give players a better sense of their power progression and mastery over the world while still challenging themselves with structured endgame activities. And they go on to talk about examples. I don't know. So we watched the Ackman's video the other day. I love the Ackman's videos. Shout out to him. Please go follow him and watch all of his content. It's amazing. But this is the one take I didn't agree with that he had. Is that I don't agree that the level scaling mattered at all. I think that it was doing more good than harm. And now you're going to outshine all of the normal level monsters, so it's harder to level up now. It's going to take more time. You're forcing us out of the world again, but it seemed like you wanted us to be in the world. And now we're just looking for events, so now it's even more hopping to an event, go to a nightmare dungeon, do a helltide, do this. Stay out of the world as much as possible, but we still have to go travel through it now, and it's just going to be filled with less powerful mobs that give you less experience, that tickle you. So I'm not going to read these examples. Just there's a level cap, a minimum level cap of 55 and 75, and then they'll start to trail you by 5. That's pretty much it. Reward experience for completing Whispers in World Tier 3 and 4 has been significantly increased. This is good. This should always be a viable option for you to do something. We have observed that the experience bonus rewards for killing higher level monsters escalated too fast when compared to the relative challenge involved. We still want to reward players for taking on this challenge by encouraging them to participate in power leveling together instead of one player killing enemies while the other members... Oh, okay. Alright. Instead of one player killing enemies while another member of their party awaits at the dungeon entrance. Listen, if you're trying to stop RMT, real money trading, for anyone who doesn't know, please just put that in the developer note. Don't be coy with us here. You don't want people to sell golden items for real money. Okay, you have a item level cap, and now you gotta give back a little bit on that one. How do you think this one is going to go over? You really think anyone is going to be excited about this? What they're saying here, and this is a bunch of jumbo math. You can read it all you want. I'm not going to actually read the exact examples. I could just tell you how it works. Is it used to take you up to these bonuses. So in World Tier 2, you can get up to +3 of your level. So that if you were level 1, you would get experience from level 4. In World Tier 3, you get +10. And in World Tier 4, you would get up to +100. That's just infinite scaling. Now, what it's changed to is now, World Tier 2 is unchanged, World Tier 3 is only up to +6, and then World Tier 4 is only up to +10, meaning if you fight anything at level +11 your content and you're trying to get XP from it, it is useless. Absolutely useless. They specifically go into the example, if you're level 1 in World Tier 4, you're going to get monster XP at level 11. So you're just killing a level 11 mob in World Tier 4. You're not getting any extra bonus at all. So, again, if you're trying to kill RMT for boosting, that's fine. Just tell us, but still, this is not a great change for anyone involved in the process. Boosting your friends was probably one of the best way to get player engagement. for people who would otherwise have quit the game or not want to play it, and this is going to keep them away from our game. And I don't agree with this change at all. And if you disagree, I'd love to hear your points in the comment. Please definitely go down there and check them out. Let me know. I will make sure I reply to most of them. Helltide! You can't mess up Helltide. Helltide was great, right? Helltide monsters are now 3 levels higher than the player instead of 2. Cool. A little more challenge. That's good. The Tortured Gift of Mystery Chest has its cost increased to 250 aberrant cinders from 175. Yikes. This does not mention rewards being increased at all. They're just adding another chest added onto it. Maybe this is giving it its appropriate value, but honestly, like, nothing in this game feels really rewarding, so this felt good. I don't know. We'll see. This might keep me away from Helltides now. I don't know. All interactable objects in Helltide zones now have a small chance of dropping aberrant cinders. This is very good. Cool. Very nice. Alright. Balancing updates. This is what you came here for sure. Not the other 20 minutes of the video. Developers note, as our community continues to battle the burning hells, the builds emerging from new players have shocked and delighted us. Chosen to focus on Season of the Malignant's balance updates on clear itemization disparities over redesigns of class features. The class changes are largely focused on numeric increases to skill upgrades and legendary aspects that players have yet found compelling. Additionally, we're changing critical strike damage Paragon Glyph to empower all damage instead of only core skills to enable more build strategies. There are also a few class stat decreases on sources which grant extreme amounts of damage, healing, or unstoppable. In general, we prefer build-specific changes to be bonuses instead of decreases, but we feel these changes are necessary for the overall health of the game. Diablo 4 is a game that is continually evolving through its seasons, thus the adjustments we will make will evolve with them. I will agree with that take. If you're going to add something ridiculously powerful in the season, you do got to tune some stuff down. That is fine. I would say that that's probably overall a bad game design, but you might as well do what you already have planned for it. I like to change the critical strike, so the Paragon Glyph now for your respective class, instead of giving you core skill critical strike damage, it's going to give you all critical strike damage. That's good if you're building critical strike damage. Barbarian. Skills. Violent double swing vulnerable duration increased from 1 to 2 seconds. Furious upheaval damage bonus per stack increased from 3% to 5%. Power charge cooldown reduced is now capped at 3 targets for a maximum of 9 seconds of cooldown reduction. Tactical ground stop fury gain increased from Tactical ground stop fury gain increased from 25 to 40. That's a lot more fury. Enhanced death blow damage bonus to bosses increased from 100% to 150%. That is quite a large jump for enhanced death blow. Enhanced steel grasp vulnerable duration increased from 2.5 to 3 seconds. Enhanced rupture damage increased from 30% to 45%. Warrior Rupture attack speed bonus increased from 20% to 30%, and duration increased from 4 to 5 seconds. Fighter's Rupture healing increased from 15% to 18%, maximum life. Passives. Hamstring now only slows healthy enemies, and slow amount increases from 10, 20, 30% to 20, 40, 60%. Cut to the bone bleeding damage bonus to vulnerable reduced from 6, 12, 18 to 5, 10, 15%. Paragon. Wrath Glyph's bonus now affects all damage instead of just core skills. Aspects. Relentless Berserker's aspect berserking duration increased from 1 to 2 seconds. Battle Mad aspect berserking duration increased from 1 to 2.5 to 2 to 3.5 seconds. Brawler's aspect damage increased from 1 to 1.3 to 1.5 to 1.8. Aspect of Burning Rage damage increased from 0.08 to 0.14 to 0.22 to 0.28. Aspect of the Iron Warrior damage reduction from 15 to 25% to 18 to 28%. Slacking aspect Lucky Hit chance increased from 30 to 50% to 40 to 60%. Aspect of Ancestral Echoes, lucky hit chance increased from 40 to 50% to 50 to 60%. Weapon Master's aspect lucky hit chance increased from 32 to 50% to 37 to 55%. Items. Gore's devastating grips now explode every 2 seconds or after it ends, and its hit cap has been removed. Oh, this is interesting. I know this one actually. So Gore's grips were the grips for Warwind where you would hold down the button and then implode a boss. So now every 2 seconds it's going to go off, or if you release it early. And there's no hit cap now, so that's very interesting. But you still can't take it into a boss to explode it. Interesting. Fields of Crimson Bleeding damage bonus increased from 10% to 15%. Druid skills. Enhanced claw attack speed bonus increased from 10% to 15%. Storm strike damage reduction reduced from 25% to 15%. Ooh, that's not a good one. You're going to be a little less tanky now. Boulder damage increased from 33 to 46%. That's a hefty increase to Boulder. Savage Trample Spirit gain increased from 20 to 40%. Prime Lacerate healing increased from 3 to 5%. Cataclysm lightning damage increased from 64 to 77%, and tornado damage from 19% to 23%. Supreme Cataclysm vulnerable duration increased from 2 to 3 seconds, and Prime Cataclysm duration increased from 2 to 4 seconds. It looks like they're trying to get your druids to use Cataclysm. I guess we'll find out in Season 1. Prime Glizzy Rage now grants Unstoppable for 6 seconds instead of while active. Oof! What this means is that there's basically no permanent Unstoppable for Prime Grizzly Rage, which means you have less movement speed. You're no longer unstoppable permanently. It's going to be a huge hit to some of the builds. Passives. Provocation Threshold requires for guaranteed overpower reduced from 35, 30, 25 to 24, 20, and 16 seconds. Spirit Boon. Masochist now also requires a lucky hit chance of 75%. Prickle Skin Thorns increased from 0.1 to 0.15. Iron Feather Maximum Life increased from 10% to 14%. Bolster Fortify increased from 10% to 15% of maximum life. Overload damage increased from 0.2 to 0.25. Paragon affects all damage instead of just core skills. That one will be the same for every one of them. Aspects. Aspect of Calm Breeze lucky hit chance increased from 5 to 10% to 7 to 12%. Balance Aspect maximum spirit increased from 30 to 50, from 60 to 80, so it's got a hefty increase there. Aspect of the Tempest damage bonus increased from 7 to 15% to 10 to 18%. Skinwalker's aspect healing increased from 0.05 to 0.1, all the way up to 0.07 to 0.12. Symbiotic aspect cooldown reduction reduced from 4 to 8 to 3 to 5. That's a nerf for more cooldown reduction. That is probably not good for them. Aspect of the Stampede damage bonus increased from 10 to 20 to 16 to 26%. Little bonus on the aspect of Stampede. Shepherd's damage bonus increased from 6 to 8 to 6 to 10%. Just a little bump up there on the high end, it looks like. And some items, Insatiable Fury Werebear skill ranks increase from 2 to 3, and Mad Wolf's Glee Werewolf skills increase from 2 to 3. So, both their respective items are now going to give them a little bit more, which is good. It's not bad. Necromancer, the changes that I am most excited for. Skills. Initiates Decompose Slow, increase from 30% to 50%. Basically useless. Paranormal Sever. Cast require for vulnerable reduced from 4 to 3. Yay? Question mark. Enhanced Blood Surge Healing increased from 2.5 to 3% of maximum life. Okay. Enhanced Blood Lance damage reduction from piercing reduced from 15% to 10%. Okay. That means that as you are piercing more things with Blood Lance, it doesn't reduce as much. Bone Prison's initial essence gain increased from 15 to 25. Yay? Question mark. Aborn Iron Maiden healing increase from 5% to 7% maximum life. Again, yay? Question mark. Golems move faster and 100 through enemies when their cooldown is activated. This is a yay! Exclamation point. What this means is that when you go hit your golem to go to this spot and do a thing, it's going to now run through all the enemies and it's going to go do that thing at that spot. This is a thumbs up. This is a W change. Supreme Blood Wave leaves behind blood orbs earlier in its path. Ray Skeleton, Corpse Explosion, and Corpse Tendrils range for auto-targeting corpses on mouse and keyboard increased by 50%. This is amazing. I've played a little bit since the patch came out. It needs either another 50 or 100%. I'm not going to lie. Like, give us the lazy mouse meta. Ray Skeleton Priest damage bonus increase from 20 to 30%. This is a huge W. This is a multiplicative damage multiplier, which means we just got a free 10% damage on something you are already doing when you're playing with minions. Ray Skeletal Priest healing increase from 10% to 15%. They could have like tripled this and it wouldn't have even been noticed. So this heal for Skeletal Priest is over the duration of the buff. So instead of getting 2% now, you're getting 3% now over the 5 seconds. So it's like, it's so minuscule you'll never even know that they updated this. Evulsion's bonus damage to vulnerable reduced from 6, 12, 18% to 5, 10, 15%. That is not very good for the Bone Spear boys. Transfusion minion healing increased from 15, 30, 45% to 20, 40, 60. This could be good, but you have to pick up a Blood Orb, and I'm not taking anything Blood Orb related in any of my builds. Drain Vitality, Lucky Hit chance increased from 25% to 30%. Again, yay, question mark. Amplify Damage, this one is huge. Increased from 369 to 4812. Amplify Damage is a debuff you are applying to the enemy, meaning everything including your minions are getting the full value when something is cursed. Beautiful. Book of the Dead. Necromancer's minions will now automatically resummon after respawning during a world boss fight. This is great. If you are dying during the world boss fight, you will now get your minions back without having to find a way to generate corpses. We can go ahead and start looking at some things that can replace, like I said, Blood Mist in the near future. Skeletal Warrior Defenders upgrade. Thorns Inherit increase from 40 to 50%. Yay. Shadow Skeleton Mage upgrade attacks required additional Shadow Bolts reduced from 5 to 4. Again, yay. Bone Skeleton Mage Fortify amount increased from 11 to 20%. It just doesn't matter. You're never taking this upgrade because you cannot pass up 40% free damage multiplicative. Iron Golem's upgrade attacks require for slam attack reduced from 5 to 4. Just not what I want to be seeing in the Book of the Dead. I scrolled down here when I first read this patch and I saw this and it was just a big oof, and it really set the tone for the entire patch. There's just a lot of nothing again. A lot of things. So we get some things, we get a little good taste here and there, but it's just there's so many fluff pieces here. It's mind-boggling. This now affects all crit damage instead of just core skill crit damage, which is good. Bone Spear Boys, Splintering Aspect, Bone Shard, damage bonus reduced from 50 to 100% to 30 to 60%. You have been nerfed slightly in multiple ways now, so we'll see how you guys perform. I think you're going to be still hitting pretty hard. Keep on Bone Spearing away. Aspect, Plunging Darkness, bonus damage increased from 50 to 100% to 75 to 125%. This is a nothing change. Coldbringer's Aspect, Blizzard. Cooldown reduced from 10 to 8 seconds. This is a nothing change. Aspect of Hungry Blood. Chance to fire Blood Lance increased from 10 to 20% to 13 to 23%. I don't know anything about this one. I didn't play any Blood builds. Blood-Soaked Aspect damage increased from 0.15 to 0.2 to 0.24 to 0.31. Aspect of Ultimate Shadow damage increased from 16 to 0.16 to 0.22 to 0.43 to 0.48. This is a huge change. This is more than double, so we'll see how that goes out. Aspect of Grasping Veins critical strike damage bonus reduced from 30 to 60 to 20 to 40. RIP Grasping Veins. It's still one of the best things to take, so everything's still going to take it, but RIP anyways. Osseous Scale Aspect bonus. Bone Storm duration increased from 4 to 8 to 5 to 10. That's just even more damage, or even more duration you get for Bone Storm. That's very good if you're trying to keep it up all the time. Aspect of the Dam bonus increased from 30 to 40 to 40 to 50. This doesn't impact minions. I thought it did for Shadow Mages. It does not. It is a big L in my book, and this is a big W for our Shadow Necro boys. And take a look at some damage over time. They have some insane things that can happen in Season 1 for damage over time, which we will get to here shortly. Bloodbath Aspect Echo damage reduction reduced from 70 to 60% to 60 to 50%. And then this is the big one, Aspect of Reanimation skeleton damage bonus increased from 20 to 30% to 30 to 40%. Joke's on you, you thought this was only a 10% increase. It's actually a 20% increase because we are now going to put this on our two-handed weapon. We love this multiplier, this is amazing. 80% increased damage, multiplicative. Blood the Scream Essence gain increased from 2.5 to 7 to 10. Garbage change. Do not equip this weapon. It is such a troll weapon. Please save yourself. Just sell it. Oh my goodness. Deathless Visage damage increase from 0.25 to 0.35 to 0.28 to 0.38. This is probably a nothing change as well. Onto our Rogue. Skills. Advanced rapid fire duration increased from 3 to 5 seconds. Love any good rapid fire changes we can get. Call Trap's cast speed increased by 15%. Enhanced Cold Imbue lucky hit chance increased from 30 to 40%. Enhanced Smoke Grenade damage bonus increased from 15 to 20%. Methodical Dash maximum cooldown reduced, increased from 3 to 4 seconds. Concealment stealth duration increased from 4 to 5 seconds. Enhanced Dark Shroud's chance to not be consumed increased from 10% to 14%. Supreme Death Trap cooldown reduction increased from 10 to 12 seconds. Passes. Victimized lucky hit chance increased from 30 to 35%. Siphoning Strikes now also requires a lucky hit chance of 75%. Oh! You ain't healing yourself anytime soon, apparently. Rugged damage reduction against damage over time effects increased from 5, 10, 15 to 6, 12, 18. My guess is this is never going to matter because Lamau, if something's killing you with damage over time, like Frozen is the only thing I can think of that would ever kill you from damage over time. I don't see this ever being a factor. Mending Obscurity healing per second while stealth increased from 369% to 48, 12%. Aftermath energy restored increased from 25, 50, 75 to 30, 60, 90. This is when you use an ultimate, you get energy back. Yay, question mark. Please just give it more damage or something. Combat's Glyph now affects all damage instead of score kills. This is the critical strike damage one. Eldritch Bounty legendary node duration increased from 6 to 9 seconds. Specialization. Preparation's ultimate cooldown reduction increased from 4 to 5 seconds. That's pretty good. I think you're going to use combo points for damage regardless, but that's still pretty good. Legendary Aspects. Aspect of Volatile Shadows damage increase from 0.1075 to 0.193 to 0.2 to 0.27. Icy Alchemist Aspect Chill increase from 15% to 25%. Shadow Slicer Aspect damage increase from 25 to 35% to 80 to 100%. That is a huge damage bonus, so maybe Shadow Slicer is going to get some love here. Toxic Alchemist damage increased from 0.080 to 0.13, increased to 0.11 to 0.16. Eventual Aspect Lucky Hit chance increased from 30 to 50% to 40 to 60%. Aspect of Imitated Imbuement duration increased from 5 to 9 seconds. That's a huge change. Aspect of Stolen Vigor healing increased from 0.02 to 0.06 to 0.04 to 0.08. Aspect of Lethal Dusk life on kill duration increased from 4 to 6 seconds. Aspect of Noxious Ice bonus damage increased from 10 to 25% to 14 to 29%. Aspect of Elusive Menace dodge chance increased from 1 to 5% to 3 to 7%. And items Sky Hunter's energy gain increased from 15 to 25 to 20 to 30. And Grasp of Shadow lucky hit chance increased from 20 to 30% to 24 to 34%. Sorcerer skills. Enhanced Charge Bolts damage increased from 24 to 30% and now benefits from skill ranks. Destructive Charge Bolts damage reduction increase from 20 to 25%. Destructive Incinerate damage reduction increase from 20 to 25%. Ice Blade's cast cleanup has been tightened, allowing players to act after its cast sooner. Firebolt initial damage increased from 10 to 18%. Wizard Firewall maximum increased mana regeneration increased from 25 to 35%. Wizards Blizzards, I love that. Core skill mana cost reduction increased from 10% to 20%. Supreme Deep Freeze cooldown reduction increased from 50% to 100%. Passives. Elemental Dominance now also affects mastery skills instead of just core skills. Potent Warding duration increased from 3 to 9 seconds. Protection Barrier duration increased from 2 to 3 seconds. Align the Elements damage reduction per second increased from 123 to 369. That's actually really big because that's how most of the passives are laid out in this game. Mana Shield damage reduction increased from 5, 10, 15% to 7, 14, 21%. Devouring Blaze bonus critical strike damage reduced from 10, 20, 30% to 7, 14, 21%. That is a huge nerf. That is not good for anything that's using Devouring Blaze. Devouring Blaze bonus critical strike damage to immobilized reduced from 25, 50, 75 to 10, 20, 30. You are no longer taking this. Holy crap, that is a huge reduction. Fiery Surge mana regeneration increased from 10, 20, 30% to 15, 30, 45%. The usual Paragon, it's going to affect all crit damage now instead of just core skills. Enhancements. Spark Enhancement, chance to form crackling energy increased from 10% to 14%. Frozen Orb Enhancement, chance to be cast increased from 20 to 30%. Incinerate Enchantment cooldown reduced from 18 to 14 seconds. Hydra Enhancement, mana threshold reduced from 300 to 200. Legendary Aspects. Aspect of Efficiency mana cost reduction increased from 10% to 20% to 15 to 25%, and now also affects mastery skills. Aspect of Armageddon damage increased from 0.205 to 0.25, all the way up to 0.35 to 0.4. Aspect of Shattered Stars damage increased from 0.15 to 0.2 to 0.2 to 0.25. Serpentine Aspect Hydra duration reduction reduced from 30 to 20% to 20 to 10%. That's a little bit of a buff. Glacial Aspect Ice Spikes bonus damage to Frozen reduced from 25 to 15%. Glacial Aspect Ice Spikes damage increased from 0.2 to 0.3 to 0.25 to 0.35. Aspect of the Frozen Tundra Ice Spikes damage increased from 0.25 to 0.35 to 0.3 to 0.4. Aspect of the Frozen Wake Ice Spikes damage increase from 0.2 to 0.3 to 0.25 to 0.35, and Chill increase from 10% to 15%. Aspect of Biting Cold chance to apply vulnerable to frozen enemies increased from 25 to 35% to 30 to 40%. Encase Aspect Life and Mana Restore per second increase from 10 to 20% to 20 to 30%. Stable Aspect chance for a free cast increased from 5 to 10% to 7 to 12%. Aspect of Splintering Energy chance to spawn an additional Lightning Spear increased from 11 to 20% to 41 to 50%. Aspect of the Unbroken Tether chance for an additional chain lightning chains increased 25 to 35% to 30 to 40%. Gloves of the Illuminator fireball damage reduction reduced from 65 to 75% to 55 to 65%. Esu's Heirloom Critical Strike chance from move speed increased from 15 to 25% to 20 to 30%. Esidora's Overflowing Cameo chance to release a Lightning Nova increase from 10% to 15%. And that wraps up all of the important balance updates. Again, a lot of it was just a voiceover. Hopefully I didn't do too bad of a job. And we're going to go ahead and continue talking a lot about everything else that's in these notes. Believe it or not, we still have quite a bit to cover. And then we're going to go ahead and talk about Season of the Malignant. All right. So, the general aspects. This is where some things get a little disappointing because we lose a lot of defense here in builds in general. So We lose aspect of disobedience maximum stacks. They're getting reduced from 100 to 60, which you might think is a good thing, but they're also reducing the maximum armor bonus from a cap of 50% to 30%. So losing about 20% extra armor, and that is a big sad for us. Aspect of retribution bonus damage to stun enemies reduced from 20 to 40% to 10 to 20%. Exploder's aspect damage to unstoppable reduced from 20 to 50 to 20 to 40, so just a little bit lower on the top end. And the Starlight aspect resource restore increased from 10 to 20 to 20 to 40. The Butcher's Cleaver slow is increased from 40 to 75% to 61 to 75%, so just a bit off the bottom. The drop rate adjustments for ancestral and sacred items have been updated to reflect that they are better the higher that you go up in the levels of Nightmare Dungeon and from Helltide, to keep you in those activities rather than in the outside world, it seems like. So I'm not sure what their goals are, but until we hear from them, we don't know. Your Nightmare Dungeons are also going to give you 3 rares up from 1, which means you can have a bunch of more legendaries drop, which is nice. Increase monster HP scaling from 85 to 100% because the higher end of the game wasn't hard enough. And we're getting some Greed Shrine. World bosses drop more potions, and there's no longer a limit to how many materials you can refine. This is a W in a sea of L's, fortunately. And the biggest change of them all is the entire game just got rebalanced with these item affixes. I'm not going to go through and read everything here. We're just going to talk a brief moment about the developer notes and how all of the aspects come together now. So what they're doing is they're reworking all of the important aspects that we have gathered as a community of what actually increases your damage exponentially. They're lowering those values, and they are exponentially increasing some of the width and wild damage, the additive multiple buckets there. So those things are going to inherently nerf all of your characters. Every single one of your characters are going to be doing less damage because there's less sources of vulnerable damage. Your main stat is getting reduced, and crit damage is getting reduced. But everything else is getting increased. We're getting some reworking, so I urge you to go ahead and read through some of these and find what's important to what you plan on doing for Season 1. And now that wraps up all the patch notes. I just wanted to give you a quick tour of how many different things are here. Go ahead and pause the video at any point so you can take a look at what is important to you. There is a lot of things that are being changed and altered and reduced and buffed. So make sure you find out what you want on your own here. And that is going to wrap up today's video. Tomorrow, a video will be going out talking about the Season 1 Malignant Hearts. We're going to read through all of those hearts that are available and my thoughts on them, and we'll discuss it in that video. So I do appreciate you guys watching till the end here. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Catch me out over on Twitch, not catch me outside. I know we all know those memes. And I will see you in the next video. Peace!